Hi, and welcome back to DIYModLoader. And here we go. We're going to pick up where we left off. So, that's basic operations. Choose your mods, click load mod. Now, let's pretend, or let's say that you started playing a game and your thing was erroring out and you're like, wow, every time I did this or my log file said to disable this or whatever, all you do is you come back to this page. Whenever you reopen it, it's going to remember everything you had. Let's say you say, you know what, I don't want white Rex anymore. You clear that and just load mods. It's that simple. That's how you enable and disable the mods. And if you want to get rid of something off your list, you just highlight it and delete item. Now, careful here, because it's going to basically ask you, do you want to delete the mod and all the files on your hard drive? If you do, then click yes. If you just want to delete the name off this list, click no. And don't worry, you didn't lose it, because the next time you hit refresh mods, it's going to say, hey, you forgot this. I found this new folder, and there it is. And then you can drag it and pop it everywhere you want. So that's how you get rid of it, and that's how you bring it back. The settings page, tuning and performance. Okay, let's go through a couple of things, and this should help your game be more stable. The app data folder. Now, everybody has an app data folder. In fact, I'm going to come over here to my red dialog box. I'm going to say app data. Wow, there it is. App data is basically a storage for your stuff, your settings, things like that. So we're going to go wargaming.net, okay, and World of Tanks. So app data, wargaming.net, World of Tanks. What that folder is going to have is a whole bunch of cache files, custom data, dossier cache, tutorial cache, a whole bunch of stuff, and your preference files. Got it? All this stuff, completely unnecessary. So that's what it's telling you here. It's got 2 megabytes of unnecessary data. If you play this for a year, you may have 30 megabytes or 40 megabytes or 100 megabytes. This can cause problems. You know what? Every week, clear this junk. Now, be careful. You click it, read that carefully. What it's basically saying is, if you click yes, you're deleting everything, including your preferences. Normally, all you only want to do is click no, which is only the cache folders will be deleted. There you go. See this update folder? Again, I'm sure most of us are aware. Some people are not. The World of Tanks folder has an update folder. Now mine's empty because I just deleted it. But normally, every time you update the client, it adds those files here. Once you update the client, those files are completely unnecessary and just take up hard drive space. After a year, I had 30, or not 30, it was about 20 gigabytes of data in this update folder. Completely unnecessary. Delete it. So, you know what? It's very simple. Clear the update folder. Yes, all files in the past. And again, it's telling you here, they're no longer needed. There's absolutely no need to have them. Click yes, clear it out. Now, your XVM data folder. This is one you're not going to have to touch. Actually, you shouldn't be touching this at all unless you have an error. And this is the big error you normally see. It's right here. If you see broken token, then this is how you clear it. Basically, by clicking yes, you are deleting your XVM settings. You then have to go back to the website, the XVM website, log in, reactivate your client, and that'll download a new database. So sometimes the XVM database gets corrupted and needs to be cleared, and it's often called broken token. And this is how you fix it. You click the button, you click yes, and it clears it. Mod settings folder. We talked about that before. Again, be careful. This folder is where your settings are. There's a new mod setting ability where some mods, you can change the settings in the mod in the game itself in the settings tab. When you click, click the edit button, click the menu button, click settings, you're going to have a multi-tab window. That far right hand will say mods, and mod creators have given you a way to change certain aspects of their mods from within the game. There's no reason to go into a text editor or get complex. So if for whatever reason there's a problem with those mods, then you're going to want to come here and clear those worst case scenarios. The next time you run World of Tanks, then you're going to have to make those changes manually. So I'm going to click no. Now, there is a folder. I'm going to click it. This is the way you're normally going to see it. There is a folder called Awesomonium. I'm not kidding you. It's in the res folder. It's unnecessary. It's a version of Chrome that some people, actually a lot of people, have reported it has been causing problems. There's no reason to have it at this time, so the best thing to do is disable it. Not a problem. You can also renable it, so that trumps it right back. So that's tuning and performance. Now later I'm working with ways to set your core affinity, make it so if you get a multi-core processor, you can have it run on, oh hey, this is a good thing to pop up. I wanted to show you, remember those 3 DLL files? It's kind of funny, an error is a good thing. The 3 DLL files, let me bring up my mods. Okay, remember these 3 DLL files here? Right? The whole reason they're there is if there's an error in the system that I didn't anticipate and create a trap for so that it would fix it, then those DLLs are going to grab the error before it really causes a problem. It's going to prompt you and say, hey, just like what it says here, there's a problem. We didn't know what it was. Can you tell us what you were doing? Now, you don't have to put your email here. You can if you want. Please describe what the error was that happened, what you were doing. You don't have to. It just helps me find out. And then click Send Report. It's like this. Let's see. No. Was clicking the, and I can't spell, one hand is faster than the other, the core affinity buttons. And then Send Report. And that's all you have to do. That's going to, in the background, you may get a firewall warning or something like that. Basically, it's a web service. You can look them up. They're called Exceptionless. It's a completely legitimate company. It's a great company. And if you happen to be a programmer, they have a free service for small companies. And what they're going to do is they're going to send me an email with, there's going to be no information about your computer. It's just going to say DIYModLoader version whatever, it threw an error. Here is the error. This is what the call stack was. It's going to give me some programming stuff. So thank you very much for putting up with that unintentional error, but it's a good learning experience. So second feature on this front screen. Now let's say that you want to run a test for, now I'm running 9.2, but let's say I want to run a, let's say you're in a team, okay? And the team only allows certain mods, and you don't want to go through here and deselect and select and deselect and select, and that just makes a mess. So what you'd like to do is you'd like to create a custom or a different configuration. Well, it's very simple. Since we want to start with the same basic version, we're going to want to hit copy and give it a name. Team. Click OK. All right. Now you have 2 XMLs. All right. They look the same. Now, these didn't change because it's a team. But let's say I wanted to do a version for the common test. So I want to say, you know what, new, because I don't want to start with the same settings. I want to say common test. And you could do the same thing for Europe or anything else. Now, because it was new, it doesn't know where the game is. So I'm going to find it. I'm going to go to C drive, and I'm going to go to games. Now, this is the common test, so that's the common test folder. Now, it's also a common test for 9.2, so that'll stay the same. So my mods, 9.2. Great. Now, when I go to main page, you notice it starts like with the version, like yours first started off. It does not look like the default, which is all selected and everything else. It's team. And let's say, let's go to common test. Now, let's say in the common test, I'm just trying to test out the 6th sense. There you go. So now when I load this, all it's going to do is load just that one mod, because you're testing just that one mod, or whatever you're going to do. But let's say I'm running my team, and for my team, remember we made a copy of the team so it looks the same, but let's say the team does not allow, let's say paintball markers. Oh, you know what, maybe they don't allow any kind of sights, so you want to disable your sights. And they say, you know what, no white Rex, nothing like that, you can't have that. No paintball. You can have the binos and the sound mods. And so you would use that, and anytime you want to run the game, right, you say, oh, I'm going to run a team game. So you fire up DIYModLoader, you choose team, you come over here, you hit load mods, and it resets your configuration for team play. And you can do the same thing for tournaments. You can do the same thing for platoons. it depends on, you know, there's no limit. You can have as many of these XML files. And let's say team, you're like, oh, I want to rename that. I don't want that team. I want to say, and you don't have to put the DIY, by the way. That's going to put it in automatically. So let's say that's your platoon config. That's not your team config. So that's going to rename it to platoon. Very simple. So that takes care of video 3. Thank you very much. And we're going to be back in a second for error trapping and fixing some of the, not bugs, but some of the things you're going to run into. So one more video.